Hi, this is Dr. Eric Fields, a specialist in gambling addiction. And today I'm discussing anticipation. Anticipation plays such a key role in compulsive gambling, especially when we're talking about placing that first bet. And what is anticipation really? Well, it's really short-term hope. And that is very different from hope as we know it, which really refers to some more distant goal or objective. We've all heard the saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And I don't want to belabor that point, but that is exactly what is going on in your mind every time you're about to place that bet. There's this anticipation, this short term hope that this time is going to be different. This time is going to be exciting, and your life is going to change in some fundamental way. Or you're going to have this wonderful experience. And a lot of times, what reinforces this idea is this confirmatory bias that we have, where we look towards actual examples that have happened during our gambling to kind of prove or bolster this point. So, a lot of times, what you'll do is you'll think of some really big wins that you've had on certain days or nights that you've decided to gamble. But the problem is this is really out of context because if you look at those isolated incidents where you won a lot of money and you had a great night, you have to play the movie out, so to speak. In other words, what happened after that? Did you hold on to that 10 to 20 grand that you won that night? Do you still have it with you? Did that lead to something really special? Like you took your wife or a significant other on a great vacation? You bought a car? What did you do with the money? How did that movie end? And you know how it ended. Eventually, you lost it. In fact, winning quite often leads to you being stuck in this pattern even longer. So, when you look at it from that perspective, a win is even a bigger loss than an actual loss. So, how do we stop this? Well, of course, one way to kind of get out of this pattern is to take yourself off of this short term based focus. Your mind has hijacked you into thinking that you cannot delay gratification and you need immediate rewards and immediate gratification. The best way, of course, would be to have or develop or create some really meaningful long-term goals. Some long-term goals that are not easy to achieve, but would be really, really fulfilling and are not out of the question. And basically, what I'm saying is these are attainable with a lot of effort and patience. And these kind of goals are going to be the most rewarding because that high that you get if you win a bet, think of how fleeting it is. Think of how quickly it goes away. It doesn't last very long at all. As opposed to achieving a long-term goal and the satisfaction or gratification that gives you for such an extended period of time. Longer term goals, bigger goals, goals that take more effort and work and patience are going to lead to the type of fulfillment that is going to be sustained for a long period of time. This type of fulfillment lasts minutes at best. But that's not what you think. You're anticipating when you place that first bet that this night is going to be different from all the rest. Because even the nights that you've won really, really big, you know deep down inside that that didn't last. It didn't lead to anything significant or monumental in your life. It was money that eventually got squandered. But this time, you believe, is going to be different. And that's where that whole definition of insanity saying comes into play, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're really thinking that the results are going to be different. So, how should you look at this when you're in that moment and those urge thoughts are bombarding you and telling you this is going to be different? This night is going to be it. It's going to be special. You're going to have a wonderful experience and you're going to make a lot of money. What should you be saying? Well, rather than anticipating that, how about if you anticipated what is highly likely that's going to happen, which is highly probable? And what is highly likely to happen is you are stuck on the hellish roller coaster once again, waiting for it to end. How many times have you started gambling and quickly come to the determination that this is awful and I just want it to end, even when you're ahead? How many times has that happened where you're actually ahead and you're netting some kind of profit in the moment, and you just want to get off this ride because you've been up for several hours, 8 hours, maybe it's been a marathon gambling session, and you just want it to be over? I want you in those moments to think of that. Like, the anticipation should not have any positive connotation to it. It should have a very negative connotation to it. You should be thinking about how awful this is going to be over the next several hours, possibly several days, or even weeks. That it's as if you're on the roller coaster and the safety bar has come down and you are locked in for a very awful, hellish ride. That's the way to combat those irrational urge thoughts that I call these seductive thoughts, right? Because they're really trying to seduce you into a really bad behavior that you know deep down inside is just going to lead to misery. Now, if you need help with compulsive gambling and you want to learn exactly how I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people overcome this very intractable addiction, click the Learn More link. Otherwise, if you found this video helpful, please like it, comment, and let me know. It always encourages me to produce more content that I hope is helpful for you. Take care.